What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream on the channel. A lot's been going on in the market since the last stream. Tensions in the Middle East escalate, and then they calm down, and then they escalate. And we're getting a bit of a pump in the markets right now. Oil is absolutely capitulating, okay? And it's not often I talk about things not really related to crypto, but I would say oil is related to crypto in a way because it shows risk on versus risk off, recession, things like that. And it shows that this conflict is potentially having a bit of some form of de-escalation. Now, I've been following this chart on oil for a long time here. You can see every single time we've hit it, we've had some form of a rejection. The same happened recently. Oil is absolutely crashing today. We're going to get onto crypto in a moment, but just look at that red candle there on the day and look at it on the hour, okay? Oil prices are coming down. I believe the reason for that is because the Strait of Hormuz was not closed off. People were worrying about that. That's why oil prices went up. That did not happen. Iran did, however, strike some US bases. However, there was no casualties, okay? So I think the market is responding positively to this right now because, yes, obviously it's not good, but it wasn't as bad as perhaps some people expected. Some people thought this would be devastating. Some people thought this would bring us into World War III. Many people would die. But obviously, it wasn't like that. And it seems like the markets are responding pretty favorably to this news, especially the oil market. But crypto is heading up as well right now. Obviously, oil going down is good. I want to clarify that for people who maybe don't know. Obviously, oil's crashing here, but that is a good thing for crypto. So yeah, we can see here Bitcoin above 103K now. We had a very big scare leading up to this. But as always, guys, news events quite often signal bottoms. I don't know how many times I've seen this now where, leading up to the event, there's a crash. Smart money sell. During the event, the bottom is formed. I don't know how many times I've seen that play out in crypto. I couldn't even count. It's so many times. And people need to learn the lessons. If you were selling down there, if you were getting into fiat down there, I mean, during the crash, you need to learn your lesson. Because in my opinion, that was the bottom. This dump is over. We're heading back up, in my opinion. Okay, of course, I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. I think we're heading up. We're probably seeing 109K pretty soon. And we found support at the golden pocket. Yes, we wicked down below it, but we found support there, and now we're heading up. I want to show you another chart, which looks really, really bullish. Total 3. What does Total 3 show? Total 3 shows the total market cap of all the coins, excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin. Total 3 looks insanely bullish to me, based on where it's found support. It found support not only at the 2024 March highs, so this would be a higher low, okay? So it's found support at the March 2024 levels, and if you actually put the fibs on it, it found support in a golden pocket. Look at that right there. Where did it find support? It found it in a golden pocket. So to me, Total 3 looks ready to run. Altcoins look ready to run. Bitcoin looks ready to run. I am bullish right now. I want to make that very clear. I'm cautiously bullish, though. Obviously, it's a very uncertain time. Things can happen that take us off course. But I am nevertheless bullish on the market. Okay, so I just want to get that out there. I want it to be very clear to everyone. But yeah, I'm going to get into the comments, guys. So please do get your questions in as always. Get your comments in. Smash the likes on the stream as well. Markets are pumping today off the back of a pretty big fall down, to be honest. We had quite a big crash while I was gone for the weekend. But we are heading back up, so it's good to see. If you're wondering about the altcoins that I would be stacking right now, I would be stacking Say. Say's having a very nice recovery. I would be stacking some Ondo. Ondo is having a pretty nice recovery as well. Let me just click on Ondo. Ondo's up 7% today. I would also be buying potentially some Aerodrome. Aerodrome's recovering quite nicely, up 7% today. And another coin I want to mention, which I haven't talked about too much lately, but I think it was an excellent buy, is Tau. Tau actually came down to the level which I said on the previous live stream. So if you watch my live stream a few days ago, I think Tau was around here, right? I said the next level is the golden pocket. I told you guys, if you want to buy Tau, I said this on the last stream. You can go and check. Okay, I said on the last stream, put your buy order in for Tau at 289. 289. Look at this chart. Where did Tau find its support? Exactly 289. So don't fade these calls, guys. Don't fade these calls. That was a great buy down there on Tau, and it's already seeing a nice little pump. If you would have put your buy order in there where I said, you'd already be up 12% in a matter of hours or whatever it's been. So congrats to anyone who just followed that call based on the stream yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before, whatever it was. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty optimistic about the market. We're getting a nice little bounce here. If you're wondering why we are bouncing, I believe it is because the response by Iran was not as bad as perhaps some people feared. And quite often that's the case. Before an event, everyone gets fearful. It's human nature. Before an event happens, everyone gets worried. They sell into the event. The event happens. People realize it wasn't as bad as expected. And then we bounce coming out of it. That's exactly what's played out again with this, yet again, another geopolitical conflict. Now, I am watching the conflict very closely in the VIP group. We're discussing this on a daily basis. I just got off a voice chat, actually, which is a very interesting voice chat. We talked in depth about the geopolitical situation, about why they striked Qatar potentially, about all the different countries in the region. We had a very good in-depth discussion about the geopolitical side of things and how that would then impact markets. We discussed oil and how oil is crashing now. Why is oil crashing? During the whole thing that was happening, oil started crashing. It doesn't really add up, right? The tensions are escalating, arguably. Iran striking bases. Why was oil crashing? I was saying the potential reason why oil was crashing is because they didn't close the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, and the reason they didn't close that is because Iran has very close ties to China when it comes to trade of oil. That would kind of be shooting themselves in the foot because they'd be basically hurting one of their close adversaries, you could say. So it's all a very interesting scenario. And I love this. This is why I love crypto, because I love, watching markets and seeing how it all ties into crypto. Obviously, it's sad to see tensions escalate in the world, but it is still very interesting if you're an investor to be monitoring all of this, right? Because there's a lot of opportunity when there's volatility. That's for sure. But yeah, I am pretty bullish. Going to get into the comments here. But before I do, I just want to quickly let you know something. I just made an entire document going over all of my portfolio recommendations to succeed this bull run. Going over exit strategy in depth. Going over buying strategy. When should you buy dips? Okay, but the most important thing is the exit strategy. There's multiple pages in this document. I'm not going to show you the full thing, obviously. I don't want to leak it. Multiple pages talking about all the different indicators I'm going to look at, talking about the percentage of my portfolio I'm going to sell based on certain indicators. It's an entire strategy on exiting the market successfully. I go over different indicators, different charts, total 3, Gaussian channel, all these different things that I talk about. I go over them in depth in this crypto guide. And if you want to gain access to it, there's two ways, okay? There's two ways you can gain access. The first way is by joining the Book a Call tier. Okay, it's not actually a tier because it's not a monthly payment. But if you want to book a call with one of my closest representatives, one of my crypto consultants, you will get access to this document on that call. Okay. One of my close representatives will go over the document on the call, discuss it with you, and plan an exit strategy and a portfolio tailored to you and your needs. So that's an option of gaining access to this very, very important document. Another way is by joining the mentor tier or the bundle. Okay. So those are the ways of gaining access to it. If you are a current VIP member, you can gain access to it by simply either booking a call with one of my representatives or by going on the mentor tier. Okay, I don't want too many people to get information like this because it's in depth. I put a lot of work into it. I don't want it to spread around. Don't want everyone to have it. Okay, and yeah, it's pretty detailed stuff. And I think if you've got this, you're going to win. You're going to win in the market. I really do. This is a competitive edge that's going to be like nothing else. So if I gave it to the whole world for free, I'd be giving away my cards essentially, right? You think about it like a game of poker, something like that. You'd be just giving away your cards, telling everyone what you're going to do, how you're going to exit. I'm nice enough on this channel. I tell you guys a lot of stuff for free. I give you a lot of insights. I tell you what I'm bullish on, what I'm bearish on, I answer all your questions. I do all of that for free. There's a certain element of stuff I want to keep pretty confidential, and I don't want the whole world to know. This is one of the things. So like I said, if you want to gain access to it, book a call with one of my representatives. They'll go over it with you. Very, very helpful thing. We've had a couple people already get on a call with the representatives, and they've said it's been tremendously helpful. They've got their portfolio in shape. They've perfected their exit strategy. They're ready. They've got clarity. They're ready for the bull run. Or you can get it by joining the mentor tier or the bundle. So check all of that out down below. But yeah, liking what I'm seeing in the market. That total 3 chart for me is beautiful. I mean, coming down. I mean, it's not nice seeing a lower high. I got to be honest. Like seeing that lower high, it's not the nicest. But where we found support here couldn't be better. So I really, really hope that the market pumps based off this support. Because if we lose this, it would be quite worrying. I've got to be honest with you guys. It would be very, 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 very worrying. There are how many varies I said then, but a lot. It would be super worrying if we lost this support. Because then we're probably heading back down to make a double bottom, which isn't ideal based on where we are cyclically. So I hope we hold this support. If we do, it's a very nice level to use as support. Ben, thank you for the $5 donation. First, Ethereum needs to pump to all-time highs, then flow to large caps, then mid caps. Takes months. It looks like red summer. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with you there. I don't think we have a red summer. I think we have a very green July, actually. Maybe we have a red August, maybe red September, whatever. But I think we have a very green July for various reasons. And I disagree as well with the point that you say where it takes months. I also disagree with the part where you say Ethereum needs to make an all-time high. So I appreciate your $5, but I pretty much disagree with everything you said there. With respect, I disagree with all of it. I don't think Ethereum needs to make an all-time high in order for us to get a good altcoin run. We've already seen altcoins run very well this cycle, with Ethereum only getting to 4K. We saw altcoins do very well. So if Ethereum merely double tops, I think that's good enough to get a very good rally on coins like Sui and Aerodrome, which drastically outperform the rest of the market. The other part about it taking months, I also don't agree with that. It does not take months. It takes days and weeks. That's all it takes. We've seen it before. Anyone who's been in crypto for years, like myself, 5+ years, 6+ years, whatever it is, you've seen it before. You've seen Bitcoin dominance drop by orders of magnitude within a week or two. It does not take months. It takes 1 to 2 weeks, and you get an incredible run on altcoins. That is all it takes. I really want to be clear with that. Okay. Look at this here. We were at 61.5% Bitcoin dominance. It drew down all the way to 54%. In how long? How long was this? Go from that to the 13 days. No less. Bro, it's 11 days. 11 days. It went from 61% down to 54%. It takes a week to 2 weeks to see a really good run in altcoins and a really big drawdown on Bitcoin dominance. It doesn't take months. Don't know where you're getting that from, but it's just not true. It can happen any moment. Any moment. It might not be this week, it might not be next week, but eventually you will get a big drawdown, and it will take a week to 2 weeks for the dominance to drop. My boy wants his $5 back. Look, I'm sorry. You know, if you donate money to me, I'm not going to just suck up to you and say, oh, yeah, I agree with everything you say. Thanks for the money. I'm going to tell you what I think. It's like paying to see a doctor and then the doctor just telling you everything's fine when you've got freaking some disease. It's not helpful. You want to know what's going on, right? So I keep it real. Like, even with the guys on the bundle, they're paying decent money to get on a call with me, have my lifetime mentorship. I keep it real with them. I'm straight up. I tell them, look, man, I disagree with what you just said there. I don't think your portfolio is going to 10x. I think it's only going to 5x. That's the reality. That's my view. So I tell people sometimes what they don't want to hear, but what they need to hear. Because I value truth as the number one thing over kindness or being nice or pleasing people or anything like that. So yeah, I apologize if you send a donation and I disagree strongly with what you say and I kind of bash you a bit, but I'm doing it for the good of yourself, right? So I'm only telling you what I think at the end of the day. I want to join the higher echelon. Do you mean? What do you mean? What's going on, Aliyah? To his point, besides XRP and Solana, no other altcoins have reached new all-time highs, but it can take less than a month. Look at XRP. It went from 50 cents to $3. By the way, I hate XRP. Yeah, I hate XRP as well, but it proves the point, right? You can't say that XRP didn't have a big pump, because it did. It went from 50 cents to $3 in the click of a finger. And that's exactly my point. Altcoins have already done well without Ethereum. Ethereum's been on the sidelines, and all the other altcoins have left the station without Ethereum. That's been the reality for most of this cycle. So I don't think we need a 10K ETH, an 8K ETH to have a good run on altcoins. We just need it to pump a bit. Solana's made a new all-time high. XRP's made a new all-time high. It's not just those two. So you're wrong on that. It's not just Solana and XRP. BNB's made a new all-time high. Tron has made a new all-time high. A bunch of altcoins have, besides those you just mentioned. I remember going through this list, and there was quite a few, actually. There was quite a few. So if you just look at like the top coins. So Bitcoin made a new all-time high. Ethereum didn't, right? XRP made a new all-time high. BNB made a new all-time high. Solana made a new all-time high. Tron made a new all-time high. All these coins have made a new all-time high without Ethereum doing so. So where exactly is this idea that Ethereum needs to make a new all-time high for other coins to pump? It's not grounded in reality. I'm not denying the fact that Ethereum pumping is good and will pump altcoins, particularly altcoins related to Ethereum, such as Aerodrome and base altcoins. It's great for those. But the idea that Ethereum needs to go to all-time highs for us to have a pump, I don't necessarily agree with. And I've been saying this for months now. Solana pumped a ton without Ethereum. How about Render? Render's been quite disappointing, but I am still bullish on it. I think it will do well because of the AI niche and the backers of it. But I'm not going to lie, it has been quite disappointing. But yeah, it almost made a triple bottom here. Yeah, the chart's showing a lot of weakness though, Render. Yeah, I guess it hit support. Hopefully it gets a bounce because it can't afford to go much lower. Yeah, Render really can't afford to go much lower. If Render dips below that level, I would probably have to sell it in a loss, and I don't like doing that. I very, very rarely sell altcoins in a loss. 90% of the time, I sell them in massive profits. But if Render did dip below this level, I would be very concerned that it could be making a move down a lot more. So hopefully it gets a bounce here. I see no reason why it wouldn't. This is very strong support. Multiple times it's hit this level. I see no reason why it wouldn't get a bounce here and start moving up. But if it doesn't, I would be quite concerned with Render. Structurally, it doesn't look good. I mean, it doesn't look good anyway, but it would look terrible if it lost that level. You know, another coin I also think is in a similar situation to Render is Ondo, but I actually bought a bit of Ondo on that dip. I just thought, you know, the backers of Ondo are incredibly strong, backed by BlackRock and loads of major institutions and big players. Just don't see any reason why it would, you know, give way now. Like maybe in 2026 it dumps loads. I expect that. Maybe in the end of the year. But I think, you know, it should get a bounce. It should start pumping. That's my point of view. Everyone thinks we're going to go choppy all summer. I actually don't. I think we're going to pump in July. I think we're going to head up. I have quite a bullish July. But guys, please do smash the likes on the stream. There's 155 people watching. The more likes we get, the more it encourages me to do these daily streams, the more passionate I get. So please do smash the likes. Iran just bombed US military facilities in Qatar. Why are we rallying? Good question. The reason we are rallying is because the effects of this were less than what people perhaps expected. People thought maybe there would be US troops who would have sadly died. People worried that maybe they would have closed the Strait of Hormuz. They didn't do either of those, right? No US military personnel died, and the Strait of Hormuz was not closed. So despite it obviously seeming bad on face value that the US was attacked, in reality, it was a pretty much a nothing burger. It was a very, it had little effect, okay? Basically, the sirens went off, they got the planes out, they fled, and no one was hurt. And a lot of the missiles, I think most of them actually, or all of them in Qatar, they were actually hit down by the missile air defense systems in Qatar. So I think this was anticipated to be worse than what it actually was. So that's why we're pumping, because of expectation versus reality. People expected it would be terrible. It wasn't terrible. We pump. Okay. The market priced in a cataclysmic event. We didn't get a cataclysmic event, so we pumped. It's that simple. And I'm really watching these oil prices. I know it's a crypto channel here, but in the VIP, we do touch on commodities and other investments a lot because they all do tie into the market. But if you go and look at oil prices, they are absolutely dumping right now. One of the biggest losses on the day I can remember for oil. When has oil dumped more than this on a day? I mean, it went from 77 down to 68. And this trend line for oil, by the way, has been perfect. I've had this trend line for oil drawn out for quite a while. I've been talking about this in the VIP, in the voice chats. And I told people, look, don't freak out about oil unless it surpasses this line. If it doesn't surpass that line, there's no reason to freak out about oil. I said, if we break above this, then yeah, we're going to explode crazy. It's going to be a massive, massive pump for oil. But if we don't break above that, then it's just going to be another rejection like we've seen multiple times, and the trend will continue. So this is what I'm on about, guys, about the VIP. People think I'm just boasting about it and stuff like that, but we do see things days and weeks and months in advance compared to the rest of the crowd. Everyone's just reacting now to what's happened. We've already planned in advance what we think will happen and how we will respond. So let's just check up on the news, see if anything's happened while I've been streaming. This guy on Twitter is usually pretty good with announcements. Yeah, so there's been nothing in the last 30 minutes. There's been nothing. Trump doesn't want military engagement in the Middle East. I read that as well. Apparently, Trump's came out and said that he's not going to respond, or he doesn't want to engage further, which is interesting. And, you know, sometimes he'll say one thing and do something else. So that's something to bear in mind. For example, previously in this conflict, he said he wasn't going to approve Israel going into Iran. 2 days later, they did it, right? Or whatever. So Trump sometimes says one thing and it's actually part of like an act to distract the opponent, right? Catch them off guard. So who knows what it's going to be. But I think for the meantime, this thing has settled down a little bit now. And, you know, you can just see this in the charts. You don't need to watch the news sometimes. You can just look at the charts and they will show you and tell you what you need to know. The charts will tell you what you need to know. You look at that oil chart, you can see things are de-escalating. Things aren't as bad as what they were. You can tell because it's crashing. You look at the Bitcoin chart, you can see Bitcoin's going up. Maybe we're going risk on again. So the charts will tell you what you need to know quite often. And I am pretty impressed here with the recovery we've had. Despite us going as low as 98 to be at 103, it's pretty good. And you know what? I thought the weekly close wasn't as bad as people said either. The weekly close was actually above 100K, above the golden pocket. It's okay. It's not amazing. We lost 102K, which was support, but it's all right. I'm still optimistic. So that's my view on things. But let's check up on some of the altcoins, see what's pumping right now, and we'll get into a few more questions. Yeah, Bitcoin needs to hold 100K. I agree with that. I don't expect us to go below 100K for much longer. Maybe we do it one more time, like a wick. But honestly, I think we hit 109 again before we hit the 90s. But that's my view. I could be wrong. But I think we're heading up. I'm just looking at multiple things that are all kind of correlating towards support and a pump. Especially this total 3 chart. We're clearly at the March highs. We're at support with the fibs, with the golden pocket. The RSIs are really low. Everything to me is just lining up for a pump. That's just my view. And it's the same with altcoins. Like I was telling you guys on the last stream, put your buy orders in for Tau at 289. That's exactly where it came down to. If you look at Sui's starting to have a bit of a relief rally here as well. Say, killing it, man. Really, really happy with my buy alert on Say down at 15 cents. Very, very happy with that. Hope you guys took that buy alert in the VIP. I dropped it just there. 15 cents. Dropped the buy alert. We absolutely sent it since. How much are we up since that buy alert? We are up 37% since that buy alert. So, great stuff. How about Saiyan? Saiyan's a good meme coin on Say. Saiyan looks good. Saiyan looks ready for a rally, in my opinion. So yeah, good stuff. You are right. Say is about to explode. I agree with that. What are my predictions on Tao, Sui, Say for July and August? You know, it's hard to really narrow it down for like the next month or two, but I expect upside. I expect upside. I would say that Tao could hit like the 1.618 potentially in the next couple of months, which is around 609. You know, if this is the bottom, obviously. So I expect all of them to kind of do like a 2x, maybe 3x. I think Say will outperform Tao and Sui. So maybe Say does like a 3x in the next couple of months and 3 to 5x maybe. If we get a really good rally, Say could even do a 5x. And then Tao and Sui maybe could do a 2 to 3x in the next couple of months. It just depends how much of a rally we get. But I expect upside on all of them. We'll have to wait and see how much of an upside they give, but I think all of them should do anywhere between a 2 to a 5x in the coming couple of months. GFAL's going nuts. I haven't checked GFAL in ages. Nuts? It's up 3% on the day. How do you... Are you kidding me? What do you mean going nuts? GFAL's going nuts. Up 5% today. What chart are you looking at, bro? What are you on about? GFAL's pumping? Man, some people put comments that just make no sense. Coinbase stock is also pumping. Yeah, man. Circle was doing really well. Let's check Coinbase. Yeah, Coinbase heading up really nicely, actually. Really nice for Coinbase. Circle, I was very impressed with. Let's check up on Circle. See what they're doing today. Circle's up as well. So across the board, it's very positive for crypto. Despite us obviously having quite a big drawdown over the weekend. Jesse AI is saying no alt season till May 26. Yeah, I disagree with that, but each to their own. You know, he's done some good stuff. But everyone's got their opinions, right? That's what makes a market. We all have different opinions. But the crypto 4-year cycle, Bitcoin 4-year cycle ends around October to November. So May 2026 would be over half a year after that. I just don't see it. But some people do have this theory that we'll top out around the election time, the midterms. I just think some of those people put too much significance on the midterms. I think the midterms are obviously important, but I don't think the midterm elections completely determine and rule markets. I don't think that. But everyone's got their opinions. That's what makes crypto crypto. Archie's group is great, very active, very hard. I love it. Yeah, man. The group is amazing. every single freaking day. It's group calls, voice chats, the same thing I just said twice. But yeah, man, I come off these calls tired sometimes because I've talked for 5, 6, 7 hours straight about crypto and markets. It tires me out. I'm ready to sleep after some of these calls. And I've been in one for a few hours already today. So I do highly recommend you get in. You can see the chats are popping off now, even while I'm live. People are talking about what they're buying, the news. We were in the voice chat earlier as well. So check out the VIP if you want to see what I'm buying as well. And most importantly, even more important than when I buy, when I sell. Okay. Because a lot of people are pretty good at buying, but when it comes to selling, they just can't sell. For some reason, they can't click the sell button. And I'm going to be there next to you, helping you sell. And I know that sounds daft, but for a lot of people, it's actually very difficult to sell. Not for me. Not for me. Great channel. Thank you. Do you think Sol can hit $1,000 or is Sui better buy and better returns? Yeah, I don't think Solana will hit 1,000. Maybe in 2029 it will. I don't think Solana will hit 1,000 this cycle. My target on Solana for the top is 420 potentially. And it's the meme chain. So 420 kind of sounds like a nice number, but 420 would be my bull case at this point in time on Solana. Honestly, I can't see that being the base case. I know this sounds bad, but my base case on Solana is a double top. My base case is that Solana goes to just around $300, and that's the top. It's shown a lot of weakness lately. Had a very, very big drawdown. The memes aren't as hyped up now as what they used to be. There's no way I see Solana going to $1,000. I don't know what people are smoking if they think that, but I personally don't think that for 1 second. Maybe it will in 2029, but there's no way it hits it in the next few months. No way it hits it this year. I mean, I'll look like an idiot if it hits it, but I do not see that happening, bro. Very clear with that. I do not see that happening. And Sui, is it the better buy? Well, it's going to do more returns than Solana, in my view. Maybe Solana does a 2 to 3x. Maybe Sui does a 3 to 5x. So it should outperform Solana. So Sui is the better play in terms of X's, but Solana is arguably a bit safer than Sui. But I do believe Sui will be the next Solana long term. I think Sui's a much better chain than Solana. I prefer it. Can I turn $100 into 2 million? Easy, bro. You can do it in like less than a minute. You can turn $1 into $1 trillion. You can become the world's first trillionaire just by investing $1 into a certain meme coin. But yeah, honestly, with Solana, I think bull case, it could hit 420. Like, optimistically, 420 would be my bull case scenario. My base case is that it double tops. That it just gets back to around 296 again. That's kind of what I expect. So that's my expected scenario. That's my most likely scenario. My optimistic scenario is that it hits $420 per coin, which coincides with the 1.618 fib. So I'm not just pulling that number out my ass. It's an actual number backed by the charts. Supra prediction. Very hard to predict a coin that goes down only. Not trying to hate on it, man. Like Supra. Why does it keep doing that? When I click on it, it doesn't. There we go. Not trying to hate on Supra. I actually quite liked it when I read the market cap, when I read the white paper, when I looked into the project, I actually kind of liked it, but the chart was just screaming red flags left, right, and center. And I can never go in heavy on a coin with a chart that looks like this. I just can't do that. I've got a couple of coins here and there with very, very small allocations, as in like less than 1% of my portfolio, with charts that kind of look like that. Like Peak, for example, I've got a tiny little bag in Peak. The chart looks really horrible for Peak, but I've got a very small bag, so it doesn't matter. But Supra is a coin I would not be going heavy into, but it is a decent project from what I've seen. Decent project and a good chart are two different things. Okay? A good chart and a good project are different things. So, yeah, that's my view. That's my view. Thank you. No problem. Thanks for the donation. What's my top prediction for Say this year? I think Say has what it takes to hit anywhere between $1 to $2. Anywhere between 1 and 2. But I would be taking profits way before then, obviously. Like, yeah, could it hit $2? Absolutely. But would I be waiting until then to sell? No way. I'd be selling some Say even if it hit 50 cents, to be honest. 60 cents. I'd be taking little bits of profit here and there because I'm a relatively conservative investor. I'm not trying to time the exact day of the top. I'm just trying to make profits. Profits are profits at the end of the day. You don't need to time the exact top. And the people who try and time the top, they make less profits anyway because they always get wrecked. So the people who make the most money in crypto are the people who are conservative. The moon boys, they never make money because they're always trying to chase the green candles and always trying to time the tops. They never make money anyway. It's the guys who are actually conservative and conservatively taking out profits. Those are the ones who make money, not the moon boys. Yeah, Casper's not looking too bad as well. However, one thing I would say with Casper is talk about a higher low. I mean, this is barely a higher low. So I would have liked it to maybe find support around like 8 cents. It's come all the way down to 5.9. 5.9. So I'm not a fan of where it found support. I got to be honest with that. It didn't find support at any major levels. No fibs, nothing like that. I mean, look at that. Every single fib level on Casper, it broke below. Nope, 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 nope. Just dumped below all of them. And then for some weird reason, it's just found its support here. So I would be a little bit concerned that it could still come back down to tag that 5.2 level, which is its macro support, where it actually had a rejection here, and then a breakout, and then we pump loads. I would be a little bit concerned that it could come down to tag that again. But it's not a guarantee, right? It could keep pumping and for some reason just find its support here. Sometimes it happens, right? Projects just find their supports at really random levels. Sometimes that happens. But usually they do come down to their macro ranges. You know, sometimes it happens a bit later than you thought, but usually they do. Surely some way they do. But yeah, I still hold Casper. I'm still bullish on it. I just reduced the percentage of my allocation significantly because of the very lackluster chart that it demonstrated this year. Could Say make less than a 5x? It could. I think it will do more, though. I think it'll do more than a 5x, potentially. But it could. Could do less. Is it realistic that you make a 5x this bull run? Yes. If you're positioned in the right coins, and if you're in a group like my own, where you're going to be, you know, keeping up to date with the markets 24/7, you're talking to people like myself every day, people who you're surrounding yourself with winners, and you're well informed, then yes. But if you're doing it all as a lone wolf, you don't really know what you're doing, you're kind of playing guesswork, it's very unlikely that you'll come out with a 5x. Your portfolio might go up 5x, but will you take profits then? Gotta realize over 80% of people in crypto lose money. At the end, they lose money. But at some points, they're in massive profits. I know some people, they were up 20x on their portfolio last bull run. They still ended up losing money at the end of it because they just rode the whole portfolio all the way down. They were up 20 times on their money at one point, and they came out with less than what they started with. So if you haven't got your exit strategy in place and you're not going to stick to it and you're going to think you know best and you're going to just play guesswork, you're going to get wrecked. I'm telling you very clearly on this. If you're playing guesswork, if you're just trying to time it willy-nilly day by day, you're going to get wrecked. If you've got a clear exit strategy, a clear plan, which you can get fully with my crypto guide, your chances of being wrecked are much lower. I'm not saying it's a guarantee you won't lose money, but your chances of success are drastically higher. And if you actually stick to this, you will make money. But some people won't even stick to it. But if you do, you'll make money. If you're wondering how you can gain access to this all-encompassing crypto guide that tells you everything you need to know about exit strategy, indicators to look at, what I recommend with a portfolio, you can gain access to that by a couple of ways. One way is by booking a call with one of my crypto associates. Get on a call with them. They'll go through your portfolio. They'll go through the exit strategy document as well with you and discuss it with you. That's a great option of gaining access to it at a very affordable rate. And you're going to gain a ton of value from this, getting on a call with one of my closest representatives. Another way you can gain access to it is by getting on the mentor tier. The mentor tier or the bundle, they will give you access to the document. Highly, highly recommend that, because this document is going to help a ton of people perfect their exit strategy and come out of this game with a ton of money. Yeah, Arrow's going to do great. Very, very bullish on Arrow. We gave that call on Arrow as low as 39 cents. I gave a call on Arrow, and that thing's pumped up loads. So I'm really happy with that. But yeah, oil price is absolutely dumping. Dumping for oil. Say's looking so strong, man. Really, really, really impressed with Say. I think this thing's about to send it big time. When Say breaks out of this like macro resistance, it's gonna go crazy. Like, it's in a massive triangle if you look at it on a different chart. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the stream here, guys. I do appreciate you all watching. Please make sure to leave a like on the stream if you got any piece of value from it. I got to go talk to some of the VIP members and check up on some of the bundle members as well. Got a few messages to reply to. Yeah, there'll probably be another voice chat later on today as well. We usually do 2 or 3 voice chats a day. I'd say out of a 24-hour day, the voice chat is usually open for 8 hours of the day, maybe on average, 7 hours on average. It's open for a third of the day, most days, I would say. Most working days, so Monday to Friday. Man, it's Monday. This week's has this week gone slow? It's Monday, but it feels like Wednesday for some reason. It doesn't make sense. Maybe it's because we had a really long weekend and a lot went on in the weekend. Probably felt like the week started a few days ago. But yeah, the voice chat will be open later. Highly recommend people join up, and highly recommend people get on that book a call thing as well. Book a call with one of my closest consultants, representatives, whatever you want to call them. They're going to help you out a ton, get your portfolio in shape, and get you on the right tracks to succeed this bull run. And it's very much aligned with my recommendations and how I would do the call. And they'll go through this entire crypto guide that I've created myself, put a lot of time into. They'll go through it on the call. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Goodbye.